The history of the world, according to first-century Jews, presents the Tower of Babel, rebellion after the flood. After the great waters receded, the families of Noah multiplied. The command of God was clear: "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth." Yet pride stirred again in the hearts of men. In the plain of Shinar they gathered. "Come," they said, "let us build a city and a tower whose top reaches to the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered over the face of the whole earth." Instead of spreading out as stewards of creation, they congregated in defiance. Under Nimrod, the mighty hunter, they baked bricks and raised a ziggurat, a stairway meant to bring heaven down to earth on their own terms. But God looked down and said, "Behold, they are one people with one language. Nothing they propose will be impossible for them." In mercy and judgment, He confused their tongues. The work stopped. The people scattered according to their new languages, and from them arose the 70 nations. Our fathers in the first century drew much of their understanding of these heavenly realities from writings that were highly valued among the faithful. The Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees especially shaped how many viewed the unseen realm. These works were not hidden or secret. Fragments of multiple copies of both were carefully preserved among the Dead Sea Scrolls at Qumran, copied and stored right alongside the books of Moses, the prophets, and the Psalms. This shows how deeply these teachings were respected as part of the sacred heritage passed down from earlier generations. Even older witnesses support this view. In the ancient Song of Moses, we read that when the Most High divided the nations, He fixed their boundaries according to the number of the sons of God, a reading preserved in the Dead Sea Scrolls and in the ancient Greek translation of the Scriptures known as the Septuagint. These heavenly beings were given stewardship over the peoples, yet many turned aside from justice. Because of their power and glorious appearance, the nations came to worship them as gods. They tempted even God's own people, Israel, leading the Holy One to warn repeatedly, "Do not bow down to them or serve the host of heaven that He allotted to the other nations." Thus the judgment stands, as the psalmist declares in the divine assembly. God stands in the divine council. He judges among the gods. You are gods, sons of the Most High, all of you. Nevertheless, you shall die like men. Our fathers understood this scattering through the deeper wisdom of the heavens. When the Most High divided the nations, He set their boundaries according to the number of the sons of God, heavenly beings of the divine council. 70 principalities were appointed to oversee the 70 nations. Their sacred task was to administer justice and guide the peoples toward the knowledge of the true God. Yet these same sons of God fell into pride. Because of their supernatural power and glorious appearance, the nations came to worship them as gods. They accepted, even craved, that worship. Instead of justice, they fostered idolatry and darkness. The very powers meant to bless the nations became tempters and oppressors. Even God's own chosen people, Israel, were not immune. These spiritual powers tempted the Israelites to bow down to them. Therefore the Holy One warned His people through Moses, "Beware lest you lift up your eyes to heaven and see the sun, moon, and stars, and be drawn away to worship them. Things the Lord your God has allotted to all the peoples under heaven. But the Lord has taken you to be His own inheritance." The judgment upon these rebellious sons is written in the Psalms. In the divine assembly, God stands and declares, "How long will you judge unjustly and show partiality to the wicked?
I said, "You are gods, sons of the Most High, all of you. Nevertheless, you shall die like men, and fall like any prince." Their punishment is certain. They will lose their authority, and the nations they corrupted will one day be reclaimed. Yet even in this scattering and judgment, the mercy of the Holy One shone. Right after Babel, he called Abraham out of Ur, from the heart of that rebellious region, promising, "In you all the families of the earth shall be blessed." Through Israel and ultimately through the Messiah, the disinherited nations would be brought back into the family of God. This is why the apostles spoke of these truths as common knowledge. The confusion of languages at Babel was not merely about speech. It was the moment the nations were placed under lesser authorities who largely failed. But the story is moving toward its glorious conclusion. At Pentecost, the Spirit reversed Babel, giving understanding across every tongue. One day, every nation will know that Yahweh alone is God, and the rebellious sons of God will bow before the true King.
Human pride still builds towers. Spiritual powers still seek our worship. But we belong to the Lord's own portion. Walk humbly before Him. Do not bow to any lesser power. Fill the earth with the knowledge of His glory.